Hello, welcome back. Today we will continue with Russell's on denoting, the essay on definite descriptions. In the previous class, which was about the first part of on denoting, we have seen what are denoting phrases and what are definite descriptions and how it's different from indefinite descriptions. And we have also seen three puzzles related to the notion of denoting. These puzzles are indiscernibility of identical, the breach of the law of excluded middle, and that of negative existentials. In today's class, we look into the theory about descriptions that's put forward by Russell. And this theory will be used to solve the puzzles that was mentioned in the previous class. So this theory actually is intended to inquire into the depth grammar of statements. So here we need to differentiate between what is surface grammar and what is depth grammar. The surface grammar is what is apparent when we express some statement in language. What is apparently visible to us, the grammar that is visible to us, is the surface grammar. And the meaning, the exact meaning of the term may be different. Exact meaning of the statement may be different. And digging out the exact meaning of the statement amounts to digging out the depth grammar. For example, if you take a statement, fruits and vegetables are delicious. So in the statement, the connective used for fruit is delicious and vegetable is delicious is and we are used fruits and vegetables are delicious. So it's apparently it's a conjunctive statement, but is it actually a conjunction? If you get into the meaning of the statement, what does it mean? If you take anything, any object, if it's either fruit or vegetable, then it is delicious. That's the meaning of fruit and vegetables are delicious. So taken anything, if it is either fruit or vegetable, then it is delicious. Means the actual operator there is not and. It doesn't mean taken anything, if it is fruit and vegetable, then it is delicious. No. The actual meaning is taken anything if it is either fruit or vegetable. But when we use in ordinary language, we use fruit and vegetables are delicious. And the depth grammar says that anything which is either fruit or vegetable is delicious. So there is a difference between what is given apparently, the surface grammar, and what is the meaning deep inside the depth grammar. So Russell and many of the philosophers of ideal language believe that digging out the depth grammar will solve the philosophical puzzles related to language. So here, in the theory of description, what Russell is trying to attempt is to dig out the depth grammar or the exact in-depth meaning of the term the. And in the analysis of definite descriptions and also in the analysis of indefinite descriptions, what Russell used is the quantification theory with the principle of identity. So you have studied quantification in logic. That's a part of predicate calculus. And this quantification theory is used along with the principle of identity. Identity means the assertion that one and the only one. So that principle is used. So actually Russell makes use of symbolic logic in order to dig out the depth grammar of statements in which definite description is used. In his essay, he carries out this analysis in two steps. In the first steps, he is analyzing the indefinite description and he is finding out what are the components of indefinite description. And by indefinite description, we mean any, a, or some, like that phrases. So what is the exact meaning of indefinite description? And in the second part, he is dealing with definite description. the meaning of the. And he finds that the indefinite description involves two claims. Whenever you make an indefinite description, there are two hidden claims within that indefinite description. And the first claim is that of an existential claim, and the second claim is a predicate claim. So what he claims is that there are two claims in indefinite description. One is the existential claim and the other is the predicative claim. And for example, if you take the sentence, I met a man, we have seen a man as denoting ambiguously. In the ways of denoting, we have seen that a man is a denoting phrase which denotes ambiguously. Okay. Now in the statement, I met a man, it's an indefinite description because a man is indefinite. A, any, some and no are indefinite. So I met a man is an indefinite description. So how can we translate? So Russell claims that there are two claims in this statement, that is I met a man. So he analyzes it in the following way. You have to just understand the real meaning of that. We have to get into the details of predicate logic in order to understand the meaning of the sentence I met a man. And I met a man, what does it mean? It really means I met someone. It is, in a sense, it's a particular proposition. I met someone. I met a man. I met someone. So if you go to traditional logic, it's an I-type proposition. I met someone. So, and what's the denial of an I-type proposition? If you see the square of opposition, then the denial of I is E-type proposition. So it's the way in which he analyzes the proposition. Now, to say that I met a man or to say that I met someone, an I-type proposition, and I is true when E is false. So I met a man means, if you represent it in predicate calculus, it means I met X and X is human is not always false. If it's always false, then it is E-type. I met X and X is human. If it's false, then it means I met no one. Once again, if I say that I met X and X is human, if it is always false, then I met no one. But the statement is I met someone, I met a man. So Russell interpreted it as I met X and X is human is not always false. And to make it less formally, we can say that there is an X. You write it like this, at least one X. The E reversed, at least one X. So to make it less formally, there is an X such that X is human and I met X. And to say that there is an X is an existential claim such that X is human and I met X. This is predicative claim. The attributes of X. X is human and I met X is predicative claim. So make it even less formally. There is an entity such that the entity is human and I met that entity. There is an X such that X is human and I met X. To make it less formally, there is an entity such that that entity is human and I met that entity. So the denoting phrase a man has disappeared. It's completely disappeared. There is no a man. And that a man is translated into its depth grammar, that is there is an X, an existential claim, and X is human and I met X. That part is predicative claim. So a man is translated into two claims, an existential claim that there is an X and a predicative claim that X is human and I met X. These two are the part of predicate claims. And if you symbolize it in symbolic language, in symbolic logic, you can represent it in the following way. That is at least one X such that hx and mx. So the denoting phrase actually was a disguised description of the entity. That entity has got an existential claim as well as a predicative claim, and those are disguised in the form of an indefinite description, that is a man. And this is about indefinite description. There are two claims, that is the existential claim as well as predicative claim. Now we'll move on to the definite description. In definite description, unlike indefinite description, there are three claims. The first one is, as earlier, an existential claim, and the second claim is a uniqueness claim, and the third claim is again, as earlier, a predicative claim. So there are three claims in the case of a definite description, that is an existential claim, a uniqueness claim, and a predicative claim. And if you apply this theory in the statement, the father of Charles II was executed. So the father of Charles II is the denoting phrase, and the statement is the father of Charles II was executed. So there must be three claims as noted earlier. The first one is the existential claim, and that must claim that the reason X, that's the existential claim, and the second claim is the uniqueness claim, which must mean there must only be one father for Charles II. And thirdly, the predicative claim, and that father was executed. So the father of Charles II was executed has got three claims. There is a father for Charles II, and there is only one father for Charles II, and that father is executed. So if you translate into a formal language, then it means there is an X, that's the existential claim, such that the X fathered Charles II is the father, and for any Y, if Y begets Charles II, then Y equal to X. If anybody fathered Charles II, if anybody is the father of Charles II, then that fellow is again that X. That's the way in symbolic language the uniqueness is claimed. There is an X such that X is the father. If any Y is the father, then Y is also X. So there is only one father, and that X was executed. That is predicated claim. So we can see that the father of Charles II is a definite description. The sentence, the father of Charles II was executed, really means that the first claim, that there is one X, that is the existential claim, and only one entity fathered Charles II, that's the uniqueness claim, and that entity was executed, the predicative claim. So three claims, and here we can conclude that definite descriptions are not denoting phrases, they are actually disguised descriptions. The father of Charles II is not directly a tag attached to a person, but it has got three specific meaning. So it's disguised description, not just directly denoting some object. And that's all for today's class. In the next class, we'll see how this theory can solve the puzzles, the three puzzles that were stated in the previous classes. And then we'll examine the worth of the theory in total. Till then, bye. Thank you.